I have had a slow start to the day. I woke up and the first thing I saw was a truck cap as a new lawn ornament. So that's no good. But it's the day before Easter. And I'm going to show you a bit of baking. We may just do a whole day of cooking. But I'm not sure how much cooking we'll do today. But I got to make 2 loaves of bread. And I might make some peanut butter cookies. And it's 10:30 and I still need breakfast. It's been a weird start to the day, folks. So what happened this morning was I got to make myself a loaf of bread. So I asked my dad, I said, hey, do you want me to make you a loaf of bread for tomorrow, which is Easter? Of course he does, because he forgot the bread. This is why I asked. So I'm going to make this crusty potato bread that I always make, even though I've only got 1 little packet of potatoes. That's all I got for potatoes. They didn't have any this week. But as I was putting this together, because I've already got the flour in the bucket to make the bread. So I've already got the flour in there. And I started to put the oil in there and I went, whoa, Dad's allergic to seed oil. I cannot put seed oil in Dad's bread. But the weather isn't good enough for me to bike anywhere to get anything else. And I only have vegetable oil, or I've got imperial margarine. None of those things can Dad have. And it wouldn't be right for me to put that stuff in the bread. I would make him very sick. So I looked up everything, trying to figure out what else I could put in this bread for oil. Turns out there really isn't anything. Except milk. Except milk. Let's see what we got. 2%. 1%. All right, I got my 1% is just about out. I've got some 2% milk. And that is what we're going to put in place of oil. I've got 1% milk too, but that's just about skim, so we don't want to do that. I wish I had whole milk. That would be even better. But part of what you could substitute is buttermilk and sour cream. I don't have that either. But I do have this 2% milk. So we will use 2% milk instead of oil in the bread that I am making for Easter tomorrow for my dad. 2 tablespoons of butter is going to be about 30 grams. So I need 30 grams of milk. And I need to taste this before I use it because it came from the food pantry. Taste this milk real quick. Usually I put this in my coffee, so I pour a little in my coffee and taste it. Then I put my coffee in. But we're past that this morning. This expires on April 23. All right, 30 grams of milk is what we're going to put in here. Not milliliters, grams. Milliliters and grams on my scale are the same thing. 30 milliliters, or 32. All right. Now I need 44 grams of potato flakes. And I initially thought I might make my Amish bread that I made the other day. But that's got too much sugar in it. Dad's on the carnivore diet. I don't even know if he's going to eat this bread. But I thought if you wanted to taste it, even just a little bit, I really need to make it so that it does not make him sick. So I need 44 grams of potato flakes. $44 grams. Come on. There we go. Got the flour in, got the mashed potatoes in, got the milk in place of the butter. I need about 7 grams of salt. Yep, 7 grams of salt. I need 10 ounces of water. So I need to change the unit. I need to tear it out. I need 10 ounces of water. (9.9). That's all I put in the cup. All right. So now I need a little bit of sugar, 1 tablespoon of sugar. I'm just going to eyeball it. There we go. Sugar. And 10 grams of yeast. 10 grams of yeast. All right. So there we go. So there it is, folks. A bread recipe that my dad can eat without getting sick. I don't expect him to eat it. But in case he does, it just can't have any seed oil in it. And that slowed me down on what I was doing because I was all ready to slap everything in the bucket and put it in the bread machine. And I was like, I can't guarantee that he won't try a slice or a bite. He mostly allows this stuff on holidays because the rest of us eat it, which is actually a change. When he first got diagnosed with diabetes, he wouldn't even let anyone dining with him eat it if it was dining at home, because he didn't even want it in the house, which is, of course, very understandable. He was just getting used to his new diagnosis, and it was challenging for him, and he didn't want any temptations in the house. So I didn't realize it at first that that's what was going on. So if you have a relative that was recently diagnosed with some illness that greatly affects what they can eat, they have to get used to that diet. And that kind of means that everybody else in the family has to also get used to their diet. And that may mean eating it for a little bit with them until they're comfortable with it and able to say no to the foods that they can't have. And that's what happened to my dad. Now he lets he'll make the carby stuff for us, but he won't eat it, or he won't eat very much of it. But anyway, I am going to put this in the bread machine. This is Dad's safe. All right, we're going to watch this for a minute. It's a little bit gloomy. The weather really is awful today. But I'm going to try and get this baking done. I'm going to hope that the weather holds long enough for me to get at least this loaf of bread done. And if there is not enough liquid in this, I will put some more milk in, which is what I normally do. And it looks like it's going to need a little bit more milk. So I'm going to do that. All right, I added a little bit more milk, so let's take a look. Still looks like it might need just a hair more. Sorry about the lighting. There is no lighting over in this corner of the kitchen. None whatsoever. They really did a terrible job of putting light in the kitchen. And here's the deal, folks. When you're using a bread machine, you really do need to watch it as it mixes to make sure that you get the right dough ball consistency. That's about right. I'm probably going to leave that right like that and let it keep mixing. And we'll periodically check in on this dough throughout its baking cycle, but it'll take about 3 hours. It is 10:47, so this will be done at about 2 p.m. And then I'll start on my loaf of bread pretty much immediately after. But I got to get this one done first. So, yeah, that looks perfect. All right, folks, I will be back in a bit. Okay, the bread is still doing its thing. It looks excellent. We may attempt to go over there and look at it, but it's really, really dark. So right now, I'm going to make some pancakes. It is 11:11, and I still have not had breakfast. And that's been today, folks. I got one article I need to do on, that has something to do with boating. It'll be a cool article. I need to have it done by tomorrow at this time. So I've got about 24 hours left to get it done. It's been a weird week. Some weeks I just don't have enough Stacey's to get everything done. I need like 5 of me the other day. I could use at least one more of me today. So we're just going to make a real quick pancakes this morning, and that camera is not lined up right. I'm just going to use bottled water because sometimes when I try to use the sink, I bang the bowl on the faucet. It does not go well. This spoon's actually got a flaw in it. I don't know if these were cheap spoons or not. They were cheap for me. I still like it. It's a nice spoon, but there's a couple of flaws in it. I don't know if you can see it. There's a couple flaws. All right, so let me stir this up, and then I'll check my skillet and move the camera. I had to do a bunch of dishes before I could even make breakfast. I had to do a bunch of dishes before I could make the bread. I might do peanut butter cookies later. Well, I might do peanut butter cookies later today for me. I won't be able to take those to Easter because there is no workaround on the oil aspect on a peanut butter cookie. So I'll have to leave those here, but I did find a workaround for the bread. And I did realize that these are buttery mashed potatoes, so they'll have a little bit of powdered butter in them. So that'll help the bread do whatever it was supposed to do with oil. The beeping is the bread machine. It's telling me that if I have any mix-ins for the bread, that I should add them now. Mix-ins would be something like raisins or nuts or fruit or seeds or something like that you wouldn't want to mix very long in the bowl because it'll scrape the coating off the bowl, which I have done. I need to buy a new pan because that one is actually missing some of its coating. It doesn't affect the bake, it just makes it harder to clean it. Alright, I think this pancake mix is done. So I just need to move the camera and make sure my skillet's clean. Alright, no, I have not had time to clean the stove. So this pan looks clean, which is good. I need some butter. Alright, so making sure I turn the camera on so you can see what I'm doing. I love these big spoons. These are great. Alright. I might have to change the battery. Oh, I'm positive I'll have to change the battery before I'm done. Oh yeah, it's out of battery. It's crazy. It goes from 2/3 of the way full to 0 at the drop of a hat. Alright, I gotta change the battery out, and I was literally standing here when it ran out of battery. Alright, I got the battery changed just in time to cook the pancake. Alright, there it is. My bread machine is working overtime tonight, or today, this morning. What a little pancake. I love as far as quick breakfasts go that I have to cook, that isn't a granola bar. I like cornmeal porridge or pancakes because both of them are very, very quick to cook. Alright, so my microphone and receiver are being very frustrating this morning, so I'm going to charge them and see if that helps, but they won't stay on. The camera still has a microphone, but you got to stay within like 6 inches of it for it to work. But that got a little crispier than I wanted. It's still edible, just as one. Alright, that one's done. The one thing I've noticed about pancakes is that once you put the initial oil in the skillet, you really don't need to do it again. In fact, the pancakes turn out better if you don't put additional oil in the pan. Just my experience with it. And I hope this bread turns out. I hope this bread turns out. I've never made it without oil. But I don't know what else to do. So we're just leaving the oil out. And when I put it in a bag, I'll have to mark on it no oil because I'm going to make myself a loaf of bread and I'm going to put oil in it. In fact, I'm going to make the same bread that I'm making for tomorrow for myself so I can eat it tonight with some hamburger vegetable gravy. We'll do that later tonight / later in this video. Because we're just going to do a day of cooking, I think, because it's going to be a big cooking day. I got one article to do, which I'll start right after breakfast. But other than that, we're just going to cook all day. I mean, it's a gloomy day. I can't go anywhere. Gloomy, rainy. The birds are making a ruckus, though. See? Look at that. These are very spongy pancakes. I think this is the Kroger pancake mix. Rather than the Aldi pancake mix, it tends to be a little bit more spongier. Just do that little pancake. The bread is rising. Putting a little margarine on this last pancake. The one I just put on the plate anyway. Supposed to wait till you see a lot of bubbles. That doesn't always work for my pancakes since I make them so thick. I really hate thin, wimpy pancakes. Can you hear the birds? I can hear them. They're squawking up a storm. There we go. That looks good. And that little pancake is done. Almost out of mix. I really love these big spoons. Alright. This is the last of the mix in the bowl. I am so glad I got this silverware set. It's making my life so much easier. Look at that pancake. I feel like I should be singing Easter songs, but I don't know any Easter songs, and I don't know that there are any specific Easter songs. It's a religious holiday. I grew up Roman Catholic. It is a big Roman Catholic holiday. It probably is for other religions, too. Go, little pancake, go. I woke up hungry. I meant to have breakfast done long before now. A bunch of stuff got in the way, as usual. Once I eat, I will go do that article. Then I will be back to make lunch and dinner. And lunch and dinner are going to be the same thing. It's going to be probably hamburger and vegetable gravy. Ooh, I got potatoes. Yes. Yes. We'll see if those potatoes are any good later today, too. As soon as I finish the article I need to write. Yeah, potato hamburger. Boy, that sounds good. Over homemade bread. Now, my bread today will not be done, but I've got a little bit of bread left in the fridge. So, yeah, this is going to be good. Lunch and dinner will be excellent. Lunch will be fresh, dinner will be reheated, which is typically what I do because I just don't have time to cook 3 meals a day. That gets really time consuming. Yeah, so if any of you guys had mothers that stayed home and cooked 3 meals a day, you should be very grateful for that type of upbringing. My mom brought home Wendy's or McDonald's. She did not have time to cook. Or I should say, during the week, my mom did not have time to cook, so she brought home Wendy's or McDonald's in the evening. She did make breakfast on the weekends. Either she made breakfast or we made breakfast. There was a hot breakfast every weekend. Anyway, I am going to eat these pancakes, and I'll be back in a bit. I guess I should show you the pancakes. There's the stack of pancakes. Isn't that a tasty stack of pancakes? All right, now I'm going to eat these, and I'll be back later. So guys, you won't believe this. I started thinking, I wonder what the ingredients are in those mashed potato flakes. And wouldn't you know it, it's got vegetable oil in it. Coconut oil, sunflower oil, and soybean oil. So the loaf of bread that we've done in about 40 minutes is going to have to be mine. But that means I still need to figure out a plan for Dad's bread. And I'm thinking, well, I got fresh potatoes, but I don't have anything that isn't a seed oil in the house. The mashed potato flakes, obviously, I just made myself a loaf of bread without added oil. So I ended up running out to CVS, and thankfully, they had a little bit of butter. This is just 2 sticks. It's a half a pound. Well, it's 4 half sticks, but it's just a half a pound of butter. Let me get the cost for you. The cost for this is outrageous. But with the weather being what it is, I'm not going to get any farther than CVS. I'm lucky the sun's come out so that I could go out at all. So here we go, folks. That butter was $4.94. It is regularly $4.99. So I got 5 cents off on it. It is $5. And it would be $5 at the grocery store, too. The difference would be I would have got a pound of it. But anyway, I went ahead and got the paper towels that I said I needed earlier. I mean, if I'm going out, I might as well get what I need. So I got the paper towels. Those were $5.93. They're normally $5.99. Got some feminine hygiene products. CVS Health brand. And if you know anything about CVS Health, I get 20% off of those. So the panty liners were $2.36. They are normally $2.99. That's actually not a bad price. Not for CVS, not for anywhere. $2.99 for long panty liners, 40 count. That's a good price everywhere, folks. And then I got some more gum. And this is probably where I got my 20% off. The gum was $6.57. It's normally $8.29. So I had a 20% off of one item. That's half what it usually is, folks. But I saved $2.46. That's terrible. But I had 21 cents off in cash back, 20% off one full price item was $1.65, and then I get 20% off of any CVS health items, and that was 60 cents. So I ended up spending $21 on this haul, folks. That's not a bad price considering. And this is the liner for my bike basket. I just picked it up and took it with me. What I need to do is buy some canvas and put some handles on the side so that I can grab the handles and carry it in. There's no handles on this, so I need to make some. And I will eventually. But this was light enough that I could pick up the whole thing and just bring it in. And I do not leave my liner outside at all. I don't do it. And strangely enough, CVS is not recognizing me, folks. I shop there all the time, but I've been wearing my new clothes. Like, I will show you my new clothes here. Let's see here. I can't really see what the camera is seeing, so I will step back a bit and show you my new clothes. So I'm wearing my new shorts with pockets, and they're long, and I've got my new socks, and I got some sandals on instead of my hiking boots, but I got new athletic shoes coming in on Monday. So, and this is a gray shirt I've had for years. I just haven't really worn them until this year. So I'm wearing these new clothes, and like CVS is not recognizing me. All right. Anyway, folks, that's it for this segment of today's video. I will be back in a minute as soon as I get organized. All right, folks, it is probably pushing 2 o'clock. My main watch, ran out of battery, and I thought I put my other watch on the charger, and when I went to get it off the charger, it fell off. So I obviously didn't get it on there good enough. So, all right. So, as I explained earlier, I've got a problem with the instant mashed potatoes. They've got seed oils in them. So that is not good. Okay? What is going on? Oh, this is interesting. This bag of potatoes is knotted. So, I wonder why that is. They obviously lost the tab, but the question is how and why. So my first loaf of bread is done. That's what you just heard me. I am going to turn it off because I want it to cool off because I need to use I need the machine for the next loaf of bread. But this one has to have real mashed potatoes in it. So we are super going to hope that these potatoes are good, because if they're not, I'll have to make a different type of bread. And I really like the way the potato bread, I love the crust that is formed on the potato bread. So we are going to try to make some real mashed potatoes. If not, there's other things I can do, but this was the recipe that I really wanted to bring over there. So we'll see what happens. Okay, I think that skillet's clean. So let's start looking at this potato. Let's see what's going on. It's good so far. Good so far. Got one little slice. Gonna try and, yep, okay. Looks good. This potato looks pretty good. I'm hoping I can get enough to make a decent amount of mashed potatoes for this bread. There are other recipes out there that use actual mashed potatoes. So what I'll do is I'll print off the King Arthur recipe that I saw earlier this morning. And I'll use that. For these mashed potatoes. Now the problem I might run into is that if I've got enough mashed potatoes for this, I may not have enough potatoes for my hamburger gravy thing, but this is more important. Easter dinner is more important than hamburger gravy thing. Plus, I said I would do it, and I absolutely intend on doing it. And actually, this way I can make the peanut butter cookies since I got the butter. I think. I don't know. Okay, this doesn't look too bad. So this potato might actually feel worse than it looks. It's actually a pretty good potato. You sneaky potato, you. This one's actually good. I can't believe it. The outside of it felt terrible, but it's a nice, crisp potato. I figure I'll cut it up anyway. You know, you don't know until you peel it. You really don't. Check that out. Well, that's wonderful. All right, so this is probably enough mashed potatoes for the bread. Oh, that's a nice potato. All right, folks, it worked. I can't believe it. Gosh, I'm going to make hamburger gravy thing. Do I just want to make a whole bunch of mashed potatoes? I can put corn in the hamburger gravy thing. Although I was going to put some potatoes in there too. But my other mashed potatoes are open. See, this is how my brain works. I don't know what I want to do. I think I'm just going to make these potatoes, and then I will make myself the instant mashed potatoes because the bag is open. All right, I am just going to boil these bit of mashed potatoes here that I've got, and I will figure out what to do about dinner later. All right, so how amazing is that, folks? I will be making potato bread for my dad for Easter. All right, but I have to make actual mashed potatoes to do it. No big deal, no big deal. At least I had the potatoes. So my loaf of bread is done. I just need to let it cool off while the mashed potatoes cook. And I should show it to you, shouldn't I, right? So this is how the first loaf turned out. Again, it's one of those ones that sunk in the middle. That doesn't really bother me. I get that a lot. So this will end up being my bread, and then this next loaf that I am cooking will be Dad's, well, the one that I'm cooking the mashed potatoes for will be Dad's loaf because it can't have any seed oils in it, and yeah. Okay, so that's it for this part of the video. I'll be back later. Alright, those potatoes are done, so it's time to start the second loaf of bread. Or at least it's time to make the mashed potatoes for the second loaf of bread. Well, I need to get my loaf out of the thing. Boy, is it being tough. Alright, so I am putting my loaf of bread in a bread bag. My loaf of bread is now in a bread bag. Well, I was not anticipating having to wash the bread pan again, but a chunk of bread got stuck under the mixer thing, so now I gotta wash it again. I need to zoom, 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 and everything seems like today is just anti-zoom, zoom, zoom. So we are gonna make these mashed potatoes. I still have to finish that article, make dinner, and finish this bread. It's getting serious, folks. It's 3 o'clock. At this rate, I'm never gonna have. At this rate, I won't be eating dinner because I still gotta cook the hamburger and split the hamburger and make the gravy and. I tell you, folks, I need like 10 of me, and it's okay if this is a bit soupy. because we're not really making mashed potatoes. We're making mashed potatoes for a bread recipe. So all the liquid that this bread recipe should need is right here. And if it needs any more, then I'll add some milk. You don't want any chunks of potatoes. So. Alright, I'm going to let that cook and try and get this container clean. Alright, it's almost done. Okay, so let's see what we got. That'll be good. Alright. I need another sliver of sponge. Okay, we're almost done to start this again. We're almost ready to start this again. Move this so you guys can see what's going on. So I'm going to put the mashed potatoes in here and see how much it is in ounces. And then I still need to go get the recipe. So we're going to see how many ounces this is. .7 ounces. So it is a cup easily. A little more than a cup, about a cup and a half. Oh, I turned the fire off. So I'm going right back in and I'm just putting a pan of water on the stove so I can put my hamburger in it. Alright, I need that recipe. Alright, upon reviewing a couple different recipes, I feel like this one can be the same recipe. Except I've got part of the liquid and the potato flakes are hydrated basically. So I still need 390 grams of flour. All right, 390 grams of flour. That's all. This is not all the flour I'm going to need for tonight because I still got to make my gravy, so I might as well leave that out. 390 grams of flour, a little bit of salt. I didn't put any salt in my potatoes, so I need 7 grams of salt. There it is. I need, was it 30 grams of sugar? I think it's 30 grams of sugar. 30 grams of sugar. There we go. The oil is in the potatoes. And then all I need is the yeast. Let's see. All right, looks good. I think I'll put 10 grams of yeast in there. And then I'll double check my recipe. There we go. 9 grams. That's everything that goes in there. I might need to put a little bit more milk in here depending on what the consistency is, but this is everything that goes in here. Put some milk in there, which I figured I would. So as it mixes, what you want to do is just keep looking for the right consistency in the dough. And I'm sorry this is so dark. There's just no light over here. So I need to add just a little bit more milk, I think. And then it should be good. And then this version of the recipe will not have any seed oils in it. Alright, so this one does not have any seed oil in it. I put real butter in there and real mashed potatoes. Only on Easter, folks. This is an expensive bread. Okay, that's perfect. So we're going to go back over to the stove. So there's the water. Alright, so now I'm starting on my hamburger. This came from the food pantry. I do not have a backup hamburger. I have not been to the store. Well, I haven't been to a store that sells meat. I've only gone as far as CVS. I'm really trying to save my money this month. So I did not wash this pan. I just didn't see a point. I just need to get my hamburger in there. Okay. There we go, folks. Alright, so the second loaf of bread is in the bread machine. And this is my hamburger. For dinner tonight, I'm going to put some foil on this and let it cook. And I'll be back in a bit. Alright, I'm about to scrape the top layer off this hamburger and turn it over. I don't smell the hamburger at all, which is a good sign. Alright, so we're almost ready here. Okay, so I need to scrape this beef, the cooked part off the top. Might have put just a hair too much water in this, but it'll shrink down as it cooks because I'm not putting another foil on it. So this, turn it over. And I'll use the spatula once I drain this to chop up the big chunks of beef so that they are smaller. I might put this over toast. I just realized my small pan is dirty. So I think what I'm going to do is put these potato flakes in a quart bag. I will eat them another day. And I will toast. How am I going to do that? How much time is left in this bread? Hours and 37 minutes. I might have a problem. I don't think this is going to take 2 more hours to cook. We'll see. Alright, that's the update for this. I'll be back in a minute. I'm just turning this over and finish breaking it apart. Doesn't smell like anything. So I need to drain the water soon. I'm making good progress on this article finally, so this really can boil forever. And my loaf of actual potato bread is looking pretty good. Alright, I'll be back in a minute. Alright, so the bread will be done in about 30 minutes. This I actually added water to, and it's actually all evaporated, so I need to drain. Actually, no I don't. I can actually keep what's in here and add a little bit of butter or margarine. I'll probably do margarine, but I want to divide this in half. So I'm going to divide this in half, and yeah. I don't want to use all of it in this recipe. I may want some for Monday, because I don't think I'll be able to get out to the store to do anything until Tuesday, but then I go to the food pantry on Wednesday, so I don't know. I don't know if I will get to the store. I do like to have an extra ground beef, but it's not critical necessarily. I didn't have it on ounces. So this particular pound of hamburger made should be about 10 ounces. 10.5 ounces. And this is all that's left in the skillet as far as grease goes. So that can stay. So I'm going to go ahead and put 5 ounces of hamburger back in the pan. But that's done, and we're going to put some margarine in there. The rest of the margarine in this little container. I need to get my can of corn because I want some corn in this. I want a vegetable in it. Or not. Right. That corn was not able to be used. I strongly dislike it when the food pantry hands me food that cannot be used. But there is nothing I can do about it because it's not like I paid for it. Alright, so that sucks. I don't think I've got any other vegetables. I can look. And I forgot to taste this hamburger, so let me taste it real quick. I can't believe I forgot to taste it. I'll taste what's in the bowl. So this is just going to be a basic hamburger gravy over toast. I need to put some spices in there, though. I need some garlic. I need some onion powder. Alright, so there's the spices. So we need to add some flour, which I have, and then I can put this flour up. So there's that. Now I can put it up. So yeah, I was hoping to throw some vegetables in this, but it didn't quite happen. It's fine. I'll just have hamburger gravy on toast. I don't mind that at all. I have to throw some more flour in there because I want all the grease soaked up by the flour. Right there. That should do it. Alright, so we want this to soak up all the grease, and it has. Add some pepper to this. I need to buy some more pepper. I need to take a trip out to the grocery just to get a few more spices. Although I can get this pepper at CVS. That's where I got the one I got. Alright, so we need some milk. So I am going to use the rest of this 1% milk because it is out of date by 5 days. So I really need to use the rest of this 1% milk. Well, I dropped the lid. So, alright, let's put a little bit of that in there. 1% is like not my favorite milk. It's just, I think 1% is actually skim milk, but not entirely sure. It's been a while since I've had skim milk. Mom bought a lot of skim milk as we were growing up because they touted it as being healthier. It's actually not even remotely healthy for you, in my opinion, because they took all the fat out of it. And you can do your own research and form your own opinions about that. But the only thing skim milk is lower calorie. So I got a nice brick o' beef and flour. So this is still going to be good, even as hamburger gravy on toast. It smells good. I gotta tell you that. It does smell good. That's the end of that jug. I used to throw my milk out literally like sometimes the day before it expired, but definitely on the day after it expired. Never would I be keeping milk for 6 or 7 or 8 days or 10 days after it expired. It just wouldn't happen, but situations are different. I gotta keep it for as long as I can because there may not be money to buy more. And the food pantry may not have any. I have been to the food pantry on weeks before where they didn't have any milk. Now, they struggled with eggs the last 2-3 weeks, and now they've suddenly got eggs in again, which is great. I meant to make some fried potatoes and eggs this week, and I have not had time. It kind of worked out, though, because I needed those potatoes for the bread, which that bread is almost done. It's only got a few more minutes on it. 12 minutes. And it did actually collapse in the middle, just like the last one. I don't know what's causing that. Somebody actually asked in a forum what causes that. A lot of things could cause it. Right, so this is almost done, and my bread has got 12 minutes left on it, which means I can toast some toast here and have hamburger gravy over toast for dinner tonight, which actually sounds really good, so I'm kind of excited about this dinner. And I'm only using half the hamburger so I can make something else Monday for dinner with the hamburger. Because other than that, I have hot dogs. I'm going to need to find a way to get to the store. Well, I need the weather to calm down so I can get to the store. I have a way. My bike is an excellent means of transportation. I think this is about done. I don't think I need much more milk in there. Maybe just a little more splash, and that's it. Yep, I think that's good. So we're going to turn up the heat and stir this up until it thickens, well, until it boils. So this looks great. This is a nice, quick dinner if you don't cook your hamburger for 2 hours because you're waiting on the homemade bread. And I'm actually going to use the last of the other loaf I made the other day. So I don't even think I'll be eating the one that I made today. But that'll be breakfast tomorrow. I might make French toast tomorrow for breakfast. I don't know if cookies are going to happen or not. It is 6:15. Just about ready to boil. And this actually goes a long way. If you've got a big family to feed, you could make a big pot of this, and add some vegetables to it, and it'd be a pretty cheap meal for your entire family. I like my gravy thick, and this is going to be nice and thick. And it is, in fact, boiling, so I'm going to turn the fire off, because all it has to do now is cool off, and I am going to get my bread ready to toast. I got to wash my pan. 5 minutes left on the loaf of bread, so tell you what, I am going to get that loaf of bread, toast it, make my plate, and I'll show you everything at the end. Alright, the battery's about done, so I gotta make this quick. So, here is my toast. This is the bread that I made a few days ago. The new bread is sitting at the other end of the counter. And I don't think I'm going to need it tonight, but I'll need it tomorrow for whatever I make for breakfast, probably. So I think I will splurge and put a little bit of real butter on this. And this is my butter knife. I like to call it the butter knife with attitude, because it definitely has an attitude. Cutting this butter real slow, too. I tell you, I don't want no trouble, butter knife. Okay, so that should be plenty of butter, I would think. And I'll put a little bit of butter over here. Yeah, that should be good. All right. And I am going to cut this up into squares. Supposedly, this is supposed to be a steak knife. I don't think it's quite sharp enough to be a steak knife, but it's definitely a butter knife with attitude. So, there we go. We got the food. Now I am going to put the gravy on. And it looks wonderful. It's exactly the consistency I love. But at the same time, I could also thin it out if I wanted to. So we'll just do that. And there's my gravy. Save half of it for another time. So there it is, folks. Toast and hamburger gravy for dinner. And this is after I made 2 loaves of bread. One for myself and one for Easter dinner tomorrow. And all of this, folks, I was able to do from food I got from the food pantry. So let's take a look at the other loaf. Now this one actually fell a lot more than the other one, but it's still perfectly edible like this. I just need to trim off that top thin part, and then it's fine, which is what I'll do, and then I'll put it in a bag, and I'll take it to Easter dinner. Anyway, this camera is out of battery, so I hope you had a happy Easter, if I don't wish you a happy Easter tomorrow, and I will talk to you later.